What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Science of Flipping podcast. I am your host, Justin Colby, and if you are watching this podcast live on YouTube, or at least on YouTube, you can see I have another incredible interview to put forth with Sean and Nisa. But before I introduce them, which you're going to want to listen to them because they have a tactic that most of you think is dead. Before I introduce them, if this is randomly your first podcast episode that you jumped onto, get over to the website, thescienceofflipping.com. The reason why I urge you to do that is because I have a book. I sell it every day on Amazon. It's called The Science of Flipping. But for my listeners, I always offer it to you for free. I want you to get as much value as you can. I want to be a resource to you. So you can actually download it from my website, thescienceofflipping.com. As well as there's a whole bunch of other things. If you want to listen or watch more podcast episodes, they're on the website. If you're interested to hear more about the Boardroom Mastermind, which both of these people are a part of, there's an application for you to fill out. If you're looking to see if you're the right fit, or even if you want to work with me one-on-one, whatever that may be, there's applications on the site, there's good training materials, there's books. Get over to thescienceflipping.com, check it out, and go from there. So with all that being said, with all the housekeeping kind of done now, I want to introduce these two awesome, wonderful people. I got to know them through the mastermind that we put on. They're actually in the elite program because they've built a business so profitable they deserve to be there. But not only are they great business individuals, they're amazing people, and they always love giving back. So I always wanted to bring them on because what they do, their story, their strategy, honestly, if you asked me 6 months ago, 9 months ago, before I met them, I would have told you it's dead. You can't do this anymore. You're not going to get deals. It's old school. I mean, it's done, right? And so, Sean and Nisa, how are you two? How are things?
We're well, thank you. How are you?
Doing good. Doing really good. I'm so happy that you guys were able to find some time to jump on the call with me. I appreciate that.
Appreciate you.
Yeah. So listen, I kind of poke fun, and I kind of poke fun, but it's serious, man. I think for those that, I'm going to tell a little bit about your story, but they're out in Houston, which is a hot market. As hot as any you could probably find, right? Dallas, Phoenix, Houston. I mean, they're all just smoking hot. Austin. And they use bandit signs. They use bandit signs and only bandit signs, right? Like, I don't think you do any other marketing, right?
We do direct mail, Craigslist.
You do?
Dabble a little bit in that, but majority of our bread and butter is bandit signs.
About 85% of it is bandit signs.
Yeah.
That's huge. And if you guys would have called me and said, "Hey, I'm thinking about doing this," I'd be like, "You're gonna waste your time. You're gonna waste your money." I would have been the first person that would have been like, "Guys, are you sure about this? Because I don't know if it's gonna work."
Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of people think that. That's why we actually have an advantage over the other wholesalers in it, because they don't think that bandit signs are still in because of other people, telling them, "Oh no, it's old school. It's overplayed."
A lot of the times, other wholesalers, they always ask us, "Man, I tried bandit signs 1 week and it didn't work. I didn't get any calls or anything." And we always just tell them, you have to be consistent. Like, you can't just do it 1 week and then fall through.
Yeah.
We do about 400 or 500 bandit signs a week, actually.
Which is great, right? And so before we get into your strategy, I want the listeners to know a little bit more about both of you personally, so they kind of have a background of how you even got into the industry, why you got into the industry, who you two are as far as your backgrounds, because I think you guys have an awesome story, especially how you guys got together. I think that's a great story. At least I think it's great. And so let's kind of just take a step back, where you guys come from, what your background is in terms of work and entrepreneurship, or if you had a boss at some level. And let's just kind of start there, and I'll let you guys both kind of chime in as you go.
Okay,
Go first.
do you want to start with how we met?
Let's start with how you met and how you ended up together. This is the best part.
You can go ahead and tell us.
Oh, okay. So basically, we went to high school together.
We're next door neighbors.
We're neighbors as well. And, we were just in the neighborhood, how boys play ball and whatnot, and we found out that she lives in the same neighborhood as us. But I really never paid attention to her until, like, Halloween.
And this is, like, back in 9th grade, so about, like, 10 years ago.
Yeah.
Oh, you guys are so young. Must be nice.
Yeah. Give me 1 second. Let's get you back on full screen.
Okay.
But yeah, anyway, so basically we met up. We started dating in high school. We dated for about 8 months until her mom got a overseas position for education. She moved to Venezuela. Tried this long distance relationship for about a couple months, and it didn't really work out. Email back and forth, lagging of time. So kind of just mutually decided that we're gonna go separate ways. Once that happened, I started doing my own thing. She started doing her own thing. She was in Venezuela to Pakistan to all these other countries, and I'm here in Houston just grinding it out. And long story short, we meet in basically 2 to 3 years ago, 2014 at U of H
in the
library, and I had no clue that she was actually still going to school at U of H. That was her first semester there, and we just met up, got some lunch together at Pink Pizzas, and the rest is history.
He's missing one part. He's leaving out one part that I think is the best part. Do you want to
That's
hear
not the best part. No, that's you got.
Got me front row tickets to a Beyonce concert, and I rejected him, and he was like, "Oh man, I guess I have to take my sister now."
You just gotta stay persistent in things, It's part of the game. That's
so
how
you invited her to the Beyonce concert, which is a great move, by the way, right? You're like, what girl doesn't want to go to Beyonce?
And this was like already because we met in February. The Beyonce concert was in June, May.
July.
It was July, so we were already kind of like talking and we're hanging out and stuff. So I was like, hey, let's go to we went to the Rockets game first. And she said, yeah, to the Rockets game. So I was like, okay. And then we were hanging out, and then I was like, hey, you want to go to the Beyonce concert? And then her friend told her no, not to. Her friend was the one who persuaded her to say no, because you'll probably be leading him on. And, not a good friend.
Nisa, you missed a great concert.
A great concert.
It's okay. We eventually saw her last year.
Yeah, we saw her.
So it all worked out.
But it was a Beyonce and Jay-Z concert, so she missed it. Yeah.
That would have been a good one.
Yeah.
But anyways, so my background is basically I come from business background family. We own furniture stores in Houston, about 7 retail stores, and I was working with them for about 7-8 years in high school. Doing everything from accounts payable to accounts receivable to warehouse manager to salesman to all that good stuff. And basically, I was about to graduate college, and I was like, you know what, I can't see myself working with the family anymore, just because I kind of want to do my own thing, want to make my own mark. I just saw a ceiling with them, and just decided to kind of go my own path.
And his boss was his older brother, so.
Yeah, my boss was my older brother.
That could be tough. There's no doubt about that.
Tough. So, and then so I was like, what's the biggest? I love sales, because when I was at Exclusive, I did everything from accounts payable to everything like that. So my passion was sales. I like talking to people. I like meeting new people, and I like kind of like interacting and basically selling a stranger a product or an item where they had no clue about, and that kind of gives me a thrill. So I basically was like, what can I do in sales? And I was like, why not real estate? Because Nissa was in real estate at that time. Actually, she was working for a builder, and she told me she was doing the accounts payable for her builder. And she told me how much she clocked in that one year, which was like $900,000. And I was like, wow, I need to get into real estate.
Yeah.
I was like, all right, so are they hiring? She was like, yeah, they're hiring. I'm like, all right, let's do it. So we're gonna go with the interview process. But let me get my license and let me become an agent or whatnot. And me and her went to the Stan Merrill Fortune Builders seminar they had going on in Houston, talking about the flip game, everything like that. And I was like, you know what?
So the seed was planted.
The seed was planted with Stan Merrill. Yeah, the seed was planted with her telling me that her boss clocked in $900,000. I was like, oh yeah, definitely. And I met her boss before. I was like, she can clock in 900, I can clock in 900.
That's right.
That's my mentality always. Like whenever I see a wholesaler or whenever I got into this business, I was like, if he can do it, I can do it.
I can do it. No doubt.
So basically, was trying to get my real estate license and ran into this company in Houston called Network Realty. They're basically a wholesaling firm or whatnot. They do wholesaling, hoteling, and got hired with them. But ran into someone else on Instagram that was doing wholesaling and said that you can do it on your own. And I was like, hey, yeah, I can do it on my own. Why not? So I just read a book, got introduced to Sean Terry, listened to podcasts while I was at the gym driving, and just started taking action.
That's awesome.
we're here now.
That's awesome. Well, good. And how about you, Nisa? What was kind of your background? Obviously, you were in real estate, doing accounts payable, things of that nature for a big builder. And how did it all take shape for you?
And I was actually going to go to dental school. So I was putting myself through college by working as an assistant for the builder and tutoring on the side. I had like 3 jobs at one time. And yeah, it was crazy. And then I became the director for Montessori's in Houston, and it was not working for me. I felt like I was putting in way too much work, and I wasn't getting the amount of work I was putting in. I felt like I was not getting compensated. So then I saw, and I've always wanted to do real estate in the back of my head, and I was wanting to go to dental school, feeling it. And I always dreamed of owning my own business. That's always been a dream of mine. I've always wanted to own my own business, be my own boss, and just take control of things. So I saw Sean, he started out, and he was about like 6 months in, and I was like, hey, this is working for you. And so one morning I called him, I was like, hey, I'm going to quit my job, and I'm going to start working with you.
Okay.
I was like, I'm going to resign, and I'm just going to start working with you. And he was like, what?
Yeah, I was like, because we always talked about it. I was like, yeah, you're gonna come on board. We're gonna start doing house flips, this and that. We're gonna be the new, Caden, whatever the people are on HGTV. We're gonna be that. So we always talked about like, yeah, you're gonna come on board. You're gonna do this for me, this and this and that. But don't quit your job just yet, because I'm not ready. I just got into this, like I'm not ready to bring someone on. Like it's just me doing it. I wouldn't even know how to kind of like divide and conquer it. So she was like, all right, we'll wait. I was like, yeah, like give me like till like March or something. Let me at least like be closer to a year than like. And she's like, okay. And then she calls me that December, which was like. It
was the first week of December.
It was 4 months because I started in June. I started June 1st. I got my first check on August 15th. So it took me 2 months to get my first check.
Last year.
Of last year, 2016. So it took me. So basically 4 months in from getting my first check, she calls me. I got it. 6 a.m. So I was sleeping. I was in my REM sleep maybe. And, I'm my own boss. I'm like, I'll wake up at 8 o'clock and at 9 o'clock when I want to. So she called me. She's like, hey, I'm tired of this Montessori. I'm going to work for you. Let's do it. I was like, what time is it?
6 o'clock in the morning, what's wrong with you?
And she was up all night long thinking about this. How is she going to talk to you? What is she going to do? How is she going to quit? And you're like,
totally.
Huh?
Yeah.
Totally, yeah. Absolutely. And then I was like, it's okay, I'll figure it out. I was like, you're all over the place anyways. Like, I'm sure I can figure something out. I have some savings. It's okay. We'll work it out. So.
Yeah. For you. Which is I'm so happy we kind of dove into this section, because part of what our listeners, and as you know in the mastermind, I mean, it's a big hurdle to really go full time, right? To really say, I'm firing my boss, I'm letting go of this safety net that's paying me a livable wage, whatever that is, and I'm doing this, and it's all reliant on me or us or whatever, and all of the income we make is our income, right? So there's everyone wants that, but to be able to make that decision to actually, leave your family's business, quit your dental world that was providing you a lifestyle that was probably fine, right? Maybe it wasn't over the top, but you paid your bills, you enjoyed your life, it was good. It's really good to hear. How old are you guys?
25.
24.
Which is huge, right? And I know my listeners range from roughly 25 all the way to 45 typically. There are listeners out there that are younger and older. But this is a huge thing for someone at that age, at any age, to be able to sacrifice the security of being an employee. And so Nisa, was this like did you think about it long, or did you kind of just say, you know what, I'm out? What was that process for you?
I always thought about it, and I overanalyze things a lot, and I'm not really one to jump to things quickly, but there was just something in my gut where I was just like, I have to do this, and now it's literally now or never, because if I'm going to do it, this is the age to do it. I've done all the schooling that I need to do. I've done everything everyone's always told me to do. And I was like, I'm going to try it out. What's the worst that can happen?
Cool.
And so I was like, it's either now or never. That's why I was up all night thinking about it. And I was like, you know what? I wrote my letter. I wrote my resignation letter. And then I called him. I was like, I'm quitting. I'm going to go give my letter to my boss, and we're going to do this. And I kind of found a way for myself to fit into the business so I could make it work. And I'd be like, don't worry about it. Don't stress. It's going to be fine. Don't pay me.
Yeah.
So, but
it's a whole mentality shift if you're thinking about, going from,
yeah.
Working for a boss, clocking in, clocking out, to, I'm on my own schedule. I got to, obviously there's a plan that you got to have set in place. It's, it's not nothing that you can just jump to and be like, I'm going to quit. Let's see what happens.
But you definitely have to dedicate yourself to it. If you want to do something, you have to dedicate. You can't just say, well, I took the big step, I quit, now what?
Now what?
You can't just wait for something to fall in your lap. You have to go out there and actually get it for yourself.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's a great message for sure. And Sean, what was your kind of, obviously you had family involved, which may have made it even easier for you, right? Or maybe made it more difficult, right? So when what was your process?
So he's actually the youngest of all of his siblings. And
is he spoiled? How spoiled is he? Does his family just baby him to death?
Actually, no. He put himself through college, and he would be at the warehouse at 6 a.m., and he'd leave at 9 p.m. So.
I knew I liked you, too. Remember that conversation we had in Denver? I'm like, listen, I need to be able to have a beer or 8 with you if you want to be a part of Billy. Like, I can't be hanging around people. I love it. I love that. That's awesome.
So, no, I was working with my family since I was like 17. My first job was not with them. My first job, my dad actually told me, like, don't just come in working with us. Like, try to get the real world experience on how to clock in, clock out, like switch, just shifts with other people. So he wanted me to do that first. So I was 16 and I got a job at Chuck E. Cheese. So that was my first job ever, right? So it was pretty cool. But then I joined my family's business.
Business? Your
business. Business.
H-Town slang, huh? I got you.
Exactly. I joined them about when I was like 16, 17. So I was working with them for like 7 years, doing everything. And I was basically living there. Like 60 hours a week is nothing to me.
Yeah.
I would do 60 hours a week with my eyes closed over there, 60, 65, while still going to school and having, full time, still putting 15, 18 hours at school for classes, but I was putting 60 hours here too. So it was, it was in my DNA. It was just already going in. So, but I felt like I was getting taken advantage of or whatnot.
Sure.
At times, I just didn't feel like there was a ceiling because I had my older sister, my older brother, my older other brother to respond to. My dad passed away about 8 years before this. My older brother took place. So it was just, I have 3 other people that I got to respond to. I felt overshadowed, even though I was like the warehouse manager taking care of everything. I didn't see happiness. I didn't find happiness there anymore. I was happy before, putting all these hours in, but then it kind of drains you out, and especially with the young age I was like at 21, 22.
You're already feeling burned out.
I was already feeling burned out.
So what gave you the courage to say and sit down with your family and say, I'm out?
It was honestly a lot. It was a lot. I was thinking about it for like a whole 8 months before I got to tell them, like, hey, I'm about to leave. But it was just the other side of the world that where I was missing out on. Like,
yeah.
This is someone who would work 7 days a week. Yeah. All of his friends would be out. He was always working on the weekends. Doesn't know what a weekend is. Doesn't know, would never see daylight until he left work.
Yeah, I just felt like I had more potential because I took care of what I did from age 17 to age 22, and I felt like I had more potential. And I was like, if I have more potential, I can do something else. I kind of just wanted to experience something else because I was tied in this family's business for 7 years of my basically growing up, childhood to adulthood, and I just wanted to see the other side of it. I didn't know I was going to start a business. I thought I was going to work for somebody else, honestly. I was still in that mindset.
Sure.
So when I did, because I was going to work for this company called Network Realty, so I'm going to work for them, then I'm going to start my own thing later on. I didn't know that I was going to go in and just work for myself until I met this guy on Instagram. His name is Nick Ruiz. I met him on Instagram, and he was doing it on his own. I was like, hey, if he can do it, I can too. So basically it was just that, I just saw myself with a lot more potential than I was. Yeah.
So let's talk about how you guys built this business, right? So you're started, Nisa joins you, and we already talked about how the reason why you're on this podcast specifically is the strategy for Bandit Signs, right? And so How did you go about when you said, okay, I'm going to launch the company, we're going to do this together? How did you go about your marketing strategy? Why did you choose Bandit Signs? You know, and how did it all start?
So basically, while listening to Sean Terry, reading the books or whatnot, it was Bandit Signs, it was direct mail, it was SEO, PPCs, or like and Craigslist, 5 major marketing channels that you can get into. SEO and PPC were they're really expensive down here in Houston, so I was like, I'm not gonna do that. I'm gonna do direct mail and Bandit Signs, and I did door hangers as well in the beginning. Door hangers didn't work for me, but those 2 marketing channels, direct mail and Bandit Signs, will work. So I just stayed consistent I got my first deal from a Bandit Sign. So I fell in love as soon as I started doing Bandit Signs. It was love at first sight, basically.
Yeah.
I put Bandit Sign. I used to put Bandit Sign myself, so I put about 100 a night on a Friday night. On a Monday, I got a call from this lady, and she was like, "Hey, I got a house to sell. It's my grandmother's house." Went over there, checked it out. That was my first deal that I ever got. 17,000, but it was actually supposed to be 11. But I ended up wholesaling the buyer's deal. Ended up doing a JV with him. It was kind of complicated, but it was 17,000 in total. And I was like, "Hey, Bandit Signs worked for me. Let's keep doing it."
Right.
So just kept doing it, and I was doing direct mail too, but it wasn't working as much. It was here and there, not really. It was a little scattered.
Like a hit or miss.
Yeah, it was a hit or miss. So I just stuck with Bandit Signs, and then just stayed consistent with it.
We really started automating it in March.
And we started automating in January. Another colleague of mine who does wholesaling, he was telling me that he was doing 1,000 a week. I don't know if he was lying to me or if he was telling me the truth. I think he was lying to me, but that put some fire in me. It was like, whoa, he's doing 1,000 a week? Yeah. All right, let's jump it up, 400 a week. Yeah. So I started doing 400 a week and started using, maps and started kind of like systemizing it, right? And hiring people and doing all that stuff. And 400 a week was doing great for me. Like, it was bringing leads, and I was like, all right, that's awesome,
We're getting more value too.
Yeah.
We're seeing more leads for less of a cost than we were with direct mail. Direct mail was like a hit or miss, and there have been times where we haven't gotten anything from direct mail, so it kind of pushed us more towards Bandit Signs.
Yeah, and then what I like about Bandit Signs as well is, like, these people who call you, they're in a distressed situation, or they need to sell. They're motivated because you're not going to call a random number on the side of the road that you get and like, oh, hey, just to tell them, hey, what's up? You're going to call me you got a house to sell. Direct mail, they'll call them, they'll be like, hey, stop calling me, this and this and that. I'll get a lot of,
Get your mail out of here.
Yeah, I got a house. It's on the market for, sold this much. But Bandit Signs, and the way that my Bandit Signs are, it's kind of, targeting those type of people that are in that situation, not the retail buyers, or not retail sellers, I would say.
So when you started out, so it's funny because you talk about kind of that mindset. You don't know it's possible until you do it. So someone said 1,000 a week, and you're like, all right, well, I'm upping it, right? Yeah. And you didn't even know that was something that could happen until you did it. He might even be lying, but because he kind of set that motivation for you, you just went on blind faith. That's something like I tend to do a lot, right? Is I'm like, oh, if you're doing this, I'm going to do it, right? And I'm just going to go. He could be lying to me, but because he says it, I'm all about it, right? It doesn't matter. So talk a little bit now that you're doing, how much are you doing right now? Every week you guys are putting out how many?
Every week we're doing like about 300 to 400 every week.
And what is the system behind it? Let's talk about how you have structured it so people could go out there and replicate it tomorrow.
Okay, so basically what we're doing is
we have 2 guys.
We have 2 guys, and we got those guys. One of the guys is from the warehouse from Exclusive Furniture, my family's business, and the other guy is from Craigslist. We used to have 4 guys. 3 of them were for Craigslist, and one of them was from the business, from the warehouse. We put an ad out on Craigslist, advertising, basically with Bandit Sign placers. What we do is we pay them by 80 cents a sign to put them up. So about 100 signs would be $80. Roughly, it takes about 2.5, 3 hours. So anyways, I get a big map, 11 by 17 map of Houston, and I basically spot out areas that are high traffic areas near Walmarts, near Lowe's, near Target, in the first time home buyer areas. I'm not gonna go to like River Oaks is like a high end,
it's like Beverly Hills,
like $1 million houses around here. So I'm gonna go to the lower houses, anywhere from like 50 to 150, urban kind of areas, Walmarts around there, neighborhood Walmart, super centers, and I basically, box it up, give my guys a map of 11 by 17, circle the intersections I want them to go, route it up for them, and tell them, hey, go ahead and place them up. And I used to first not track my signs, and I would like drive around. Me and Nissa would drive around and basically look for the signs, and which was kind of idiotic. But we would do that, like look for 100 or 200, like 400 signs at a time. We wouldn't. We would just tell the guys we were going to do that, but so they can kind of be on their toes and they can, put the signs up. But we, in reality, we would not drive around the whole city on a Saturday, Saturday afternoon. Yeah, right.
Yeah. Days drive around.
And Houston's huge, so like we wouldn't go from here.
Right.
We would just tell them. We would also by the call volume that we're getting.
So Saturday, I wouldn't get any calls. I'd tell them like we didn't get any calls. We need to go check our signs. We need to check our signs.
Yeah. And we were doing this until April.
Until we went to Mastermind.
Until we went to the Mastermind. And at Mastermind, someone recommended us Simple Crew. It's an app where you basically take a picture of the sign and it geotags the location and the time that they place the sign up.
Right.
So basically, now my guys I give them 200 signs. I give one guy 200 signs. He takes 200 pictures, and I just look at the pictures, make sure they're not duplicates or whatnot, and then I pay him through PayPal.
That's awesome.
And yeah, just 300 signs consistently, 400 signs consistently every week. And the city probably takes down maybe, let's just say I put 100 signs up. They probably take down, I put 100 signs on Friday night. All my signs go out on Friday night, all 400 of them. So let's just say I put 100 signs on Friday night. Monday, they will probably take down about 60, 70 of them, 60 or 70. So I still have 60%. So I'll still have 30, 40% out there. And then they just add up. I stay consistent. I keep putting the signs up, and I recycle the areas. I keep the same areas every 2-3 weeks. I have people who call me from an old number that I haven't used like a month ago.
Ages,
yeah. And I actually just got a deal from it last week. A $12,000 assignment fee from a number that I haven't used in like a month and a half.
That's awesome.
I was like, where'd you see my sign at? He was like, oh, I saw it on West Park and some crossroads. I was like, oh, okay. He was like, yeah, you should put more signs around here. He's like, I love your signs. I'm like, all right, yeah.
I love your signs.
Yeah.
So, do you put every week that goes out, do you put a different phone number on it?
No, anymore.
So
no.
we've assigned a phone number per sign placer, so we know like how they're doing, and we can track it on CallRail.
So pay them 80 cents a sign, and then I incentivize them. If I'm able to get a deal from your number, then I'll go ahead and give you anywhere from $300 to $500 bonus. So this guy that I just got a $12,000 assignment fee from, I'll give him a bonus about $300, $350.
That's awesome. So how much do they make total?
How much does he make total? I mean, depends on when I
get a bonus. What would he make in a given month if he did that every week for you, plus a bonus, and you get 2 deals from it?
Yeah. So
is it livable, or does he still need to do a job?
It's not livable. It's not livable. It's like because it's 175. Yeah, it's extra money. This guy has. So I have two guys. One guy has a full-time job at my family's warehouse. He gets paid pretty good, but he does it on Friday night. Extra $175 a week. Why not? So, and then the other guy has like 3-4 different part-time jobs, and he's cool with it. I mean, he loves it. Both of these guys, what I like about the 2 guys that I have, knock on wood, I mean, they like doing what they do. They're like, hey, Sean, I like it. I mean, keep coming. And when I'd like, take it down from 200 to 100 and give them only 100, like, hey, Sean, why'd you give me only 100? I want 200. I'm like, all right. So I like, the guys that I have, by the grace of God, they're good. And, everything's going well.
And what does your sign say? What are you saying? Probably pretty simple, right?
It's real simple, but I say Sean buys houses, Sean pays cash, any condition, and then my number.
That's it?
Yeah, it's simple. And then kind of like a handwritten kind of font, but it's not handwritten, kind of, bold, blue and white, blue font, white background.
Where do you get the signs, and then where do you get the stakes?
So the stakes we get from Stake World, and we order them in bulk, about 1,500 stakes at a time.
Yeah.
And then
it's like 57 cents each if you stop.
Wow, that's incredible. Because if you buy them, I think they're almost like $2 a stake.
Yeah, I mean, if you buy them, depending.
If you buy them like at Lowe's or Home Depot, I think if you're doing that and you get 30 or something, it's like $60 or something like that.
And then the signs are from a local vendor, mom and dad, mom and pop shop. She owns a marketing printing company.
Nice.
And so we just get it from her.
Okay.
For $1.60, $1.65.
So So how much is it to put up?
So $1.60 per sign. So $1.65 per, every 18 by 24, 57 cents per stake, and then 80 cents per labor. So it's probably it comes out to be like $3 to $3.09
per sign.
Not bad at all, right? And how many deals have you done this year?
We've done 37.
That's incredible, guys. I mean, for those of you out there listening and you've heard of Bandit Signs, or maybe you're only doing direct mail, or you're trying to figure out how to get a cheap way in. So you're at $3.50 per sign. Is that what you said?
$3.09.
$3.09. And if someone put out 100 a week, they're at what, $30, $31 a week?
No, $309.
No, 100 a week. Oh yeah, $309.
Yeah.
Okay, still only $1,200 a month. I mean,
Yeah.
it's
Still, yeah.
still doable, right? For someone who's like, I don't have a ton of money, but I want to get some signs going.
In the beginning, we didn't print them out.
Yeah,
I would handwrite them. I would handwrite them.
Me and my sister would handwrite them.
Yeah. Yeah.
100 of them a week or 200 a week?
Oh, I wrote about.
She was really fast at them. Cause I would do them first.
Like
I would do like 50, and she'll be done with like 150. I'm like, what? I'm like,
write
let me see how they
200.
look. Are you doing a sloppy? And I look at them like, oh damn, this is actually better than
mine.
Yeah, and her sister needed prom dress money. So I was like, hey, I got a job for you. So I gave her some. Yeah, so gave her some money. But we used to do that. So it was like at that time it was probably like $1.50. It was like half of it. 96 cents for the like 90 cents for the sign, the white sign, with the marker, 57 cents for the stake, and then 80 cents. So like $2.
We were handwriting about 300 a week.
Yeah.
I mean, there's no doubt that that's a pain in the butt, but it's also not terrible, right? If someone's trying to do this business full time, they're trying to get in, they're trying to save money, they don't have a big marketing budget. At the end of the day, what else are you going to do with your time, right? If you're doing this full time.
What our thought was.
Exactly.
Like, if there's nothing else to do but write signs, so I mean, if it's going to bring us income, it's going to bring us income. So. Yeah,
I mean, in the beginning, you gotta write your own signs. When you're on a shoelace budget, you gotta write your own signs. You gotta, get some stakes from the street and put them, make them your stakes. And that's what I would do. I didn't have that much money for stakes, so I would find stakes on the floor. There's the stakes everywhere. Find some stakes, go to a recycle place, find some stakes, and put signs of my own self from 9 to 3.
Yeah.
9 to 3, 9 p.m. to 3 a.m. and just do it. And you just gotta be in that hustle mode.
So what is the neighborhoods you tend to go after? Price point neighborhoods, right? The areas that you feel like the deals will move quickest. Like you said in Houston, 50 grand to 150 grand, probably closer to 100 to 200 would be a price point here in Phoenix. That it's kind of it could be a good flip house, it could be a good rental home. You kind of have the exit strategies. You're definitely not going in high end areas. You're staying in the lower end areas. Sean buys houses. Sean pays cash. Sean closes quick. Phone number, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you guys use Ring Central or CallRail?
CallRail.
And do you guys use Podio for the back end of managing your leads?
Yeah.
Dude, it's a beautiful business. Beautiful business.
It's a beautiful
pretty
business.
awesome. Yeah.
But
so, go ahead.
No, that's it.
I was going to say, is there anything, if you're out there and you're going to have tens of thousands of people listen to this and watch this. So, what would be your advice to someone, whether they're just getting started, maybe they're contemplating, how can I get more deals? I just received an email this morning. I need more deals. And like, okay, I mean, what would be your advice to someone just getting started or even contemplating, do I do this full time or not? Right. Because that's something of huge value that both of you made the decision young, but also you walked away from good jobs. It's not like you were walking away from, I was working at Burger King. So what other, tips or thoughts that you guys would like to press upon the people that are listening or watching you on YouTube?
I mean, for a beginner, if they're trying to get into this business, first learn the foundation of wholesaling, what goes into it, what goes out, what's the concept of it. But when you know that, I mean, after that, it's just taking action. It's just about doing what, everybody sets out for you. There's a bunch of, moguls out there that's telling you, hey, signs, direct mail, SEOs. At the end of the day, you just got to do it. And the main thing is just staying consistent to it. If you stay consistent to it, if you put the money into it, and it's going to for sure come back in return.
No doubt.
Staying consistent, just taking action, not thinking about, oh, should I do this, should I not? Yeah, if you're kind of on the edge about it, do it part-time. You can do it part-time.
And to add on that, I think that you shouldn't spend too much time thinking about whether you should do it or not. You should just do it and come up with a game plan and see what works in your area and what other wholesalers in your area are doing.
Mm-hmm.
So if
taking action, for sure.
Definitely taking action, and just you're creating a beautiful life for yourself, I think, by doing this.
Absolutely.
And you have a lot of freedom and stuff. So
that's awesome. Well, you guys are awesome. You definitely are people who I'd like to drink 8 beers with for sure. Have some fun.
You made it.
Anywhere, if people try to find you, do you want them to go to any websites or email, any contact information you want to give out?
So you can find us on Instagram at Revive House Buyers.
REVIVE housebuyers.com or Instagram?
Yeah, and that's our website as well, revivehousebuyers.com.
Awesome. Well, hey, I appreciate you both being on here and giving to the loyal listeners. Just remember, these are people that were you 4 or 5 years ago or thinking about trying to get in or trying to systemize a business. So I think you've done a great job giving back and teaching some systems that work for you guys. So I appreciate it.
I appreciate it, Justin. It was a pleasure. Thanks so much, man.
All right, guys, that's it. Peace. See you on the next episode.